Hey YouTube, that's a ridiculous number of videos I've done today, but this is a request. Can't believe I've never actually done a video for this guitar before. This is my sort of, what's it Wayne called it, a validator for my collection. So obviously I'm sitting playing all these mad obscure 80s Washburns and saying, oh, they're great, you know, but you know, I do have what most people would class as good guitars to compare them to, this being one of them. So this is an early 90s, I think, SG Special. I bought this in 2001, I think, around about then, second hand, and it was pretty beat up when I got it, so it must have been had a bit of age to it at that point. There's been a headstock repair and the serial number's been painted over, so you can sort of see it's still there, but you just can't quite make out the numbers. I had a go at making out the numbers and typed it into the serial number decoder, and it came out at 2008. So, well, I'd had this for 7 years, whatever it was, in 2008, so it's not from then. So this is the Special, and what I was led to believe at the time, I'm not sure whether it was just sales pitch or not, but at the time Gibson only had two SGs. They had the Standard and the Special. The only differences being, what I was told was they were exactly the same body and neck that were cut out, and then some of them, you know, there's maybe a flaw in the grain, or maybe needs a wee bit of filler or something, you know, just to cover up a sort of crappy bit in the body. And those ones were painted, dipped in red plastic, white plastic or black plastic, and became Specials. And the ones that didn't need filler and stuff like that were actually quite a nice grain, got the translucent cherry finish to be a Standard. So once they failed that test, they sent them in and they put in this case, an ebony fretboard with no binding on it on the guitar, whereas the Standards have binding and a rosewood fretboard from this era anyway. I think that apparently the pickups and the hardware are all the same. The pickups don't have metal covers though, they're open. So I believe they're a 498 pair, I think. They're pretty good. All the SGs I've ever seen from this era have either the wee metal bit that says tone missing from one of the tone controls, or they've got snapped volume controls, including this one. I just bought these ones from China for £1 because I was sick of only having 3, but see the number of other ones you see that I've only got 3, and it's because the knobs are super glued or glued onto the pots. So when you do, I was sitting there going, right, these are coming off, and I was trying to take them off and putting so much pressure on it, and eventually they just exploded. You know, like brittle glass. So I scraped off all the glue and then just bought pound ones, just so I had 4 that all matched. But apart from that, this guitar's all original as I bought it. I played it quite a lot. I used to use it over my Epiphone G400, which was my first proper guitar, and it didn't play as well as I played it for probably 5 years, and probably had it for 10 years before I got the correct truss rod cover, truss rod wrench. Once I'd messed about with a few guitars and I realised what a truss rod did, suddenly the guitar, because when I used to play it, even though the Epiphone was much easier to play, this one's got the Gibson pickups in it, so it sounds better. So I just struggled through it. Being a bass player most of the time anyway, it was like I was used to just having to fight with a massive action, so it's not there anymore. But it's just like, that's what I always think about when I'm buying all these guitars and adjusting the truss rods. I did play one for many years that had seriously needed a neck pulled back. What a difference it makes. Right, so the bridge is killer, just full tone and stuff. Yep, and the neck, which I'm not as impressed with it now as I used to be. I used to think that neck pickup was just the best thing in the universe, but I've since got quite a few not a cheaper guitar, well not cheaper because they're Japanese, and a bit obscure looking guitars that kind of nail that sound. It's still really good though. And at the time I was in a band, and the other guitarist had a Telecaster, and he always played in the treble pickup. So I was used to playing on the treble pickup for all the solos. And then when I'd switched to the treble pickup, you couldn't hear it over a Telecaster bashing out chords. So, and then when I put it into the neck pickup, it just went woo! Great. Got another thing. I've got the time wrong for that. It worked well when I tried it a minute ago. Another thing I noticed, a lot of modern guitars, I was doing an Epiphone SG, and it had nice Grover tuners on the headstock, whereas this has got really sort of thin, say Gibson Clussen ones on them. But what I noticed with this is it hangs perfectly, whereas that guy who I was doing the other SG for had tried to put lead weights on the back of the guitar to try and counterbalance it. And I think it was mostly down to the machine heads, because I've often wondered why I did such tinky machine heads. It's not as bad now for going out of tune, but I used to have a hell of a time with the D and the G strings going out of tune. But I think now that I've set the action up better, and I've just fidgeted with it over the years, it seems to hold now okay. But yeah, they're better than the modern ones. I remember trying out when I was gutted, because I bought this for quite a lot, but when I bought this they were 750 quid new, and you'd maybe get them down to sort of 699 for the special, and then they brought out the sort of faded looky ones, the ones that didn't paint a few years later, and I kept seeing them for like 500 quid, and then I think they were down to 450, and I was like thinking, that's unbelievable, that's kind of what I paid for this, a bit more, but and then you play it and you go, oh, hold on, it's not the same guitar. Not at all. Because obviously, 10 years later they bring out a guitar, it's like, oh, has price of labour and money and stuff gone down? No. Is the guitar basically half as much to make? Yeah. I had a shot, but actually my pal gave me another video I did about a month ago, a modern SG standard, one was an LP 100 written on the headstock. He sort of gave it to me, and I was like, and I gave it back to him because it was too much. But it was a nicer guitar than this. It looked much nicer, but it was basically it didn't. And I think it was like, I don't know, it was like 700 or 800 quid or something like that. It was less of a real Gibson than what this feels like, even though it's a bit lumpy. I mean, I think when people say about the finishes in the, mind you, I'm not sure this one hasn't been repainted, or the neck hasn't been repainted before I got it, and then I snapped the headstock off it. I think the reason I've been buying so many guitars is because I was talking to someone about this the other week. I needed to have an SG because when I was starting to play the guitar, it was Pete Townsend had one, Angus Young had one, Angus Young wasn't that into him. Then like, Tony Iommi had one. The Beatles did Paperback Writer Run, had one. There's one in the front to Get Your Yayas Out. They just seem to appear everywhere. And back in those days before the internet, back when everyone was black and white and stuff, I used to buy records because they had pictures of SGs on them. Not expensive records, buying them for £1 and stuff. But I remember buying a Man album because it had an SG with a crazy scratch plate as the front cover. I can't even remember what it sounds like. So I always wanted an SG, and so I bought the Epiphone one, and I played that for a couple of years, and then I decided once I could play War Pigs, all the War Pigs, I was going to buy a real Gibson one, and I did. So I bought myself a real Gibson, and I basically just got the right one first time. It looks like the one on the inside of Black Sabbath Volume 4. That's fine. I didn't really want a black one, and obviously the cherry red one's the main one, but this one's kind of a bit odd being red. It came in red, white and black, and it's cool. Now this guitar's played Black Sabbath a lot. Okay, I do quite like this guitar. I've kind of forgotten about it. You know, for many years I played this guitar and I used to play through a wee 10-watt BB Blaster amp. I've got a couple of them for sale, can't seem to shift them. Even though I had that amp and it was sitting there, I just decided I couldn't be bothered turning it on, waiting for it to heat up, and just played through the Marshall for like 2 years or something. Before I moved things about a bit and got that out. It was like, oh, maybe I should be using the boutique hand wired valve amp rather than a cash converter's 20 quid job. So I might actually buy I don't have a Les Paul, like a real Les Paul. I've got a couple of sort of copies, but not any that are really, proper Les Pauls. But I have seen, one time I saw one from about the same year as this that was the same colour, the studio, and it had the ebony fretboard, and I thought, oh. So I might keep my eye open for that. It'd have to be either red or the cream white one, and it would have to be from this era. with the ebony fretboard, I think. And this one's not for sale.